So in today's New York Times, there's an article in which they're talking about the effect Facebook and generally social media has on America and the world, and especially on the world which doesn't have the check and balances that advanced societies might have. Now, I recall many years ago, I did some work. I blogged about, Zuckerberg and Facebook, and some important, powerful people were upset because, people, the friends and people with big bucks and all that can get a pass, and, poor folks will get slammed down. But I saw where Facebook has a potential for um, diabolic and destructive influence on America in particular and in the world. Um, when you look at the whole situation, it makes you want to be very fearful for the future. For example, I mean, Zuckerberg doesn't have an education. He dropped out to Harvard, I understand. He stole these guys' ID. He went to court, didn't reveal all the information, and just gave them a pittance. And now he is ranking either second or third richest man in the world after just 15 years and as young as he is. Um, I don't think Facebook is the Bible or it's anything positive or it's anything that's going to make the world a better place. We haven't seen the effect yet that Facebook potentially would have. Now, I saw recently he met the Pope, and in my view, this is very important. So they're saying that in this last election cycle here, that fake news and fake organization and all kind of stuff that went on, and that could have caused certain results, etc. And people are worried. But as I said, I saw this long time ago, and what I'm looking at particularly, it's going to be bigger deception than just an election false news or whatever. Well, it's going to be false news anyway. For example, the Bible says that in the last days, people will say, "Here is Christ and there is Christ." Believe them not, don't even go to where they say he is. Because the Bible says that when he's coming, he's going to come from the skies, he's going to make a noise, and everybody is going to be alerted to his coming. So Facebook is going to fit in like this. Several people around the world are going to start saying, "Hey, look, I have a picture of Jesus here. Look, I have another picture of Jesus there," and help deceive the world. Um, Also, this, the um, it is predicted the economies of the world will collapse, the stock markets will blow away, and Facebook could play a very important role in that. If they start putting out fake news, sell your stocks right now, the sky is falling, everything is bad, it's over. Guess what? It's going to just be over. So what can societies do? I recall that the first world talking about freedom of press and freedom of speech and freedom of all this when certain third world countries were banning these social media because they were creating social unrest. The first world countries were saying, "You can't do that. Freedom of speech, yeah, 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 yeah." But I recall when Britain and some other first world countries were having problems, they suspended, I believe they suspended them or were considering suspending them because they were creating grief for them. So it has the potential for destabilizing the world. I mean, you got to be fair that this is a big undertaking. There are billions of bits of information passing, and I'm not sure if any algorithms could be out there that could discern truth and falsehood and the whole nine yards. Now they're saying that peer has more influence on each other than, say, the government or probably the newspaper or television. So if my friends say this, it's much more powerful than if the president or anybody else say otherwise. Well, that's not in my case because I just don't care about Facebook or any social media. It's not a really important part of my life. I don't look forward to somebody tell me happy birthday or whatever. I don't check. I don't have no friends per se on Facebook on social media in the sense that I have this community we're gonna get together and spend time and waste time and waste my boss time and the whole nine yards. I mean, it's a tool. I could get in touch with my family and so on and so forth. So, folks gonna realize, and I don't know what you can do. You can't ban it right now because there can always be some court challenge, and the court, wouldn't see That's point. They're gonna look at other issues and then say you can't do that. But in real terms, these organizations are useless. I mean, they're creating false news. They're creating false situation. You have flash mob. They could set up something and then a whole bunch of people show up someplace and start some kind of. Generally, they don't show up and start giving out love. Handing out free food and money or whatever. They're coming out with some stupidness, block the place, making a bunch of noise and carrying on stupid. So you hear he's dressing, trying to model Steve Jobs, and I'm not sure if Steve Jobs is anybody else role model also, because you see, technology and Steve Jobs and all these people, I should make a video on that, but then I shouldn't because I would just get beat up for something that basically I'm trying to help the country. So I'm just gonna leave it alone. I was gonna talk about whether computing and whole technological stuff ain't from Satan because he sees that he could use this to harm people and create problems and the unproductivity and the bullying that happen online and people committing suicide. Even one person committing suicide because of some bullying on Facebook or whatever, Satan is happy because one soul is so invaluable in God's estimation that when one dies in a lost manner and people wasting the time and we don't know who else is dying from the false stuff that's going on in these social media. Um, that's great. Satan likes that. Evil likes that because you see, Steve Jobs, he has revolutionized computing. I recall when computers started, you had to have some sense to have a computer and to work it. But then, of course, it sounded like this is not a business model. We need to sell computers to everybody, and everybody needs one. So let us make it in a way that even the dumbest person could use a computer. And of course, there's a lot of money out there and so forth. But look, the problems it's causing. Young children, the brain ain't developed yet, the morals ain't straightened out, the eyes and thing, the focus on these media and on these technologies. So with Steve Jobs being a Hindu or a Buddhist or whatever he was, because when he was poor, he was eating in this Buddhist place and the Buddha and all that. I mean, I don't understand why people think that Buddha is going to be working for the West. So anything that Steve Jobs has done is influenced by Buddha, and Buddha is not interested in us succeeding and doing well. So while it looks overtly, oh, this is so good, in real terms, it's setting you back millions of years. And this counter revolution, we had a Renaissance. Now we have we're back into the Middle Ages. We're way back. So because with all the technology we have, it hasn't made us better people, smarter. It just make us dumb because you don't have to have any sense to be important and to have a bunch of money. Society has really undermined itself, and I don't know what to do with Zuckerberg. I don't know what to do with Facebook, but society may not even do. Maybe the majority of people still would see these people as, oh, they're so great. This is such a wonderful thing. You know, I could stay home and just be on social media, have people, virtual friends, and everything is good. When in real terms, you need to get out of the house, exercise, meet the neighbors, stay on your job and do your job as opposed to wasting your time with these social media. You haven't seen the end of it yet, and you haven't seen the effect that these media gonna have on civilization. And I'm telling you that they can be instrumental in the diabolical events in the end time. And it's just, well, hey, it's exciting. Jesus is coming eventually, so it doesn't matter what they're gonna do or whatever. But for those who don't have this hope, they're gonna create such grief that you're gonna be amazed.